Honestly, it sounds cliche, but getting, paid to do something you love. Like this is not, it's never too hard of a day doing a shoot. Could it be grueling? Yes. Could it be a whole week worth of every night you're doing 3 hours of, dance photography? Can that get taxing? Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm doing what I love.
You are now tuning in to the Relentless Project. Real people, real stories, real life.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Ish with the Relentless Project, and I'm here with Mike Conway.
Hello, sir.
You're a man of many trades, apparently. Look, this got the shirt on, logo out, and everything.
Got it.
I appreciate you for reaching out, man. You told me a little bit about yourself. I'm like, yep, this is a dude we got to have on, and it's what the Relentless Project is all about. It's about talking with cool dudes and chicks who are doing cool things.
Sure.
So, we were talking a little bit earlier. Your main hustle, is gas.
Yeah. Natural gas,
and it pays the bills for you to do something you love, which is photography.
Really the main reason I've stayed there for so long is because the consistent hours has always let me do my side hustle very easily. So 8 to 4:30, I always have my evenings and weekends where I can do weddings and portraits. At golden hours are always your best time anyways.
So. Oh, you're an 8 to 4 guy.
8 to 4 guy.
So then what's prime wedding season?
Prime wedding season right now. You're just starting now. It usually starts at from May to November.
So you got your weekends off from May to November to make money.
Yeah.
How'd you get into photography? I mean, I know a lot of people have a different. It's funny because now I'm getting a lot of photographers on.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I had a lot of MMA fighters.
Sure.
And I was hesitant. I'm like, oh man,
Well, was that your hustle, or is that something you do?
I do jiu-jitsu and train and stuff. So I had access to a lot of these guys and girls.
Sure.
And I'm like, man, I don't want it to be like an MMA podcast.
Okay.
But then every single person who got on, everyone had a different story.
Right. Oh,
sure. So
you
think of photographers, you're like, oh, well, every photographer. It's like everyone has a different story.
Everyone has a different path.
What's your story? How'd you get into photography?
Well, so it's always funny to say, but in high school, I was always wanting to be a storm chaser, and so meteorology, so that kind of type thing. That always got me into wanting to, go capture with either a video camera or whatever point and shoot camera it was back in the day, to start getting video content. I would say then me and my friends would always make those little videos. At them it was like the Sony Handycams, and then you put your own little bullshit video together as a kid, So that's where kind of really started out with the video stuff and recording and editing and all that stuff is really when I started with capturing something in some sort of way.
We just had a tornado touchdown allegedly in Pittsburgh, so I
heard that.
I got the alert, but I was knocked out, so I'd be dead. If it was in my area, I'd be dead because I didn't wait. And I don't sleep good.
Yeah.
I slept great. So I need more tornadoes.
Yes, no more tornadoes.
So you started getting into this storm chasing. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And I still carry that into now, too. If I can, I was just out trying to, I'll still look for fronts if it's available because it's something I love doing. It's really fun. It's an adventure. I have some of my most viral thing I've ever put was last year's storm in July with this big front coming over. Yeah, people loved it. It went nuts.
So this is my ADHD brain. We bounce around.
Yeah.
I saw a photo.
Yes.
That a photographer took of a lightning strike.
Yes.
How hard is it to do that?
It's timing. So it is. Once you know the principles, it's pretty easy that way because there's a certain formula to do that. But it's always going to be luck, really, to make sure you're pointed in the right direction. If the storm is coming right in front of you, it's all going right in front of you, fine. But if it's like that lightning strike that hits the top of the building or something, like the Empire State Building or something, that could be 1 in a million shot.
So it kind of showed how he did. I think
It's a long exposure.
Long exposure.
Long exposure.
That's it.
Yep.
I was like, it's long exposure.
Long exposure.
That is a sweet picture. You ever get anything like that?
Absolutely.
Or?
Yeah,
Dude,
I have tons of images like that I've done over the years. Yeah. Oh yeah. Where fingers across the sky and all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
that stuff's it's
It's
crazy.
awesome.
To me.
It's awesome to see that stuff, and then you know your camera's pointing in the right direction. Like, yes.
Because like, when you try to look at it in person, it's so fast.
Oh, it's quick. Yeah, it's a split second.
Then when you see a picture of it,
Yeah.
you're like, that is what's happening.
Yeah, it's because when you have it open for a long period of time, the longer it's open, it's capturing light. So like when that lightning strike through, it's in frame, and it's just it's hard. I'm trying to think of a good way to explain this. That it's the app. It will capture whatever light is in
You can
front of it.
nerd out, bro. We got all kinds of people to listen to this. I may not understand.
Sure.
But people will understand.
It's when you have the shutter open, it's going to capture whatever light is in front of it. So when it's a 30-second exposure, it's going to capture all the light that happens within that time period.
Dude, that's sweet.
Or you could have it on manual mode, or like have it's called bulb mode, and then you can be in charge of how long it's open. If you want it, psh, psh, damn. And that's kind of the same premise of doing. I'm trying to think. I just showed you a video of it earlier of the fireworks. Fireworks are very similar to like lightning photography.
What about when the people have like the glow sticks and they
Same thing.
draw? It's the same principle.
Same principle. So
That's
as long as that
interesting.
frame is open, then they, write whatever, and then
You
then
see
stop.
it.
Yes.
You learn all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I love this stuff. I learn so much just by talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna do it.
No.
It's someone better suited for you. So you started chasing storms and
Yeah.
stuff, and like, how did you get into like the business? What made you? Because a lot of people shoot as a hobby. It's fun. It's cool. Like even with these cameras, I'll
Sure.
mess around with it. It's fun. It's cool to capture stuff. What was the deciding factor for you to go, you know what? Like this is something I love and I'm going to try to monetize it.
Well, it actually kind of fell into my lap because I was still doing like landscape stuff for a long time. And then I had my camera around my neck and I was downtown in Erie at, I think it was Celebrate Erie. And this was probably 2010. And the guy said, hey, would you want to do this like a street view photography? And where we have people go out and cover events and stuff. I'm like, sure. So I gave him whatever card I made off of a cheap site. And then he called me and they asked me to come in. And, I started shooting football games and events and all that stuff. And that's really kind of where I started like monetizing money for the first time with it. So
What's your niche? If you had to pick, like, what do you prefer to shoot? Because I know this is a field where people kind of master like wedding stuff or nature. Like shooting nature is different than shooting someone's wedding. Like what's your favorite kind of stuff to shoot?
I would say travel photography, hands down. Like the nature stuff and the landscape stuff. It's because you can put yourself in so many elements, across the world. And like I just went to Italy last year specifically to go on top of a mountain there to get a photo. And so that to me is a lot more exciting than wedding photography, which is great and I love, and I've been doing it for years. I really do enjoy it. But my passion to do would be, the landscape stuff. Again, going back to the lightning and storm chasing. Still right back to that.
I guess it's so cool to see, especially like on social media. That's the stuff I won't scroll past. I'll be, it's TikTok dance, whatever. And then it's like a picture of like this cave in a secluded beach. And I'm like, dude, that's sweet.
Oh yeah.
Like someone had to walk there. Someone had to climb this. Someone had to, you hear the stories behind the pictures. They say a picture picture says 1,000 words.
Yeah.
The story behind that picture is
It's wild how they got there. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tell me about a crazy picture you took. Like not necessarily the actual picture, but like for you to get this moment, this photo. Is there anything you've done like that?
Well, this I just touched on this. I went to Italy last year because I saw a photo on Instagram, and I'm like, I want to go there. And then I told myself, you know what? I have the money to do it, and I'm gonna go do it. So then a week later, I booked a trip to go stand on top of this mountain. It's like 40. I did the mile. It's like 4,500 miles from here, just to stand in this spot on top of this mountain in Italy.
Did you get the picture?
I did. Yeah, the Dolomite. The mountain range is called the Dolomites. It's the Italian Alps. So once I saw this person standing there, I'm like, I want to go there, and I booked a plane ticket and did.
That's relentless.
It was relentless. Oh my God, it was.
Dude, I ain't climbing nothing.
Yeah.
Let alone just to take a. That's cool. That's sweet.
Oh yeah.
How long did it take you to scale the mountain?
Well, there's a rough path to it, so it took to probably about an hour from your start point of walking with all the gear. Yeah, which it's not
Dude,
fun.
you can't
in
drop your gear.
in elevation. Yeah, oh yeah, it sucked. I'm like, I'm in great shape. I'll be fine. Boy, I was wrong.
You're never in good enough shape to do stuff like that.
No.
Like I tell like people look at me and they're like, "Oh, dude, you're fit." No. Cardio 0.
yeah.
Like when I do jujitsu, I'm gassed. It's like
I couldn't even begin to do that. I'd be gassed immediately.
I lift heavy. That's it. That's my specialty.
I'd get one good swing in, and then I'd try to like start running after you. I'd be out of breath. I'm like, I'm already done.
I tell people, I said, if you got 2 minutes in you, you win. But if I get you in 2 minutes, I'm giving you hell.
Sure.
Those 2 minutes,
Yep.
2 minutes of hell. If you can last that, I'm fucked. I'll admit it.
That's funny.
So you're doing this. You start to make money off photography. Is that were you with National Fuel during that time?
No, at that time I was working at a grocery store called Wegmans.
Oh, everybody knows Wegmans. I know Wegmans from
Yeah,
here.
I love Wegmans.
It's like people up to Rochester know Wegmans. Well, that's where it originated, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I
well,
believe.
that makes
Yes.
sense
Yes. The original store is in Rochester.
Dude, Wegmans is ours is Whole Foods. That's like that's the place to go.
Oh, to me, that's bougie. I think that's bougie.
I thought Wegmans was bougie. I grew up on Walmart. Well, Kmart then Walmart.
Okay, I was gonna say Kmart. Yeah.
That's the goat here. If you're from
was.
Erie,
Well, I mean, are you from Erie?
yeah.
Quality Markets. Oh.
What are they still around?
I
No.
haven't heard that. I haven't seen that for years.
Aldi's is a new Quality Market. It's changed my mind.
Yeah.
It is
perfect,
because
yeah.
it was the original Quality Market. I forgot about. Dude, I'm gonna talk to my mom about that. That's what we always. That has left my mind.
Yes, which is now a Otis 12, I believe, is now in there.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
Old Quality Markets.
They got
Yeah.
good wings, right?
Yeah.
I believe.
Great wings.
Yeah, I know Otis 12. I'm familiar.
Best in Erie.
So, what made you stick around with your, keep photography around? You get National Field, it's a good job,
Yeah.
right? Like, and this is a segment I go on of what is success, right?
Sure.
Like, when people talk about success, it's always, I made partner at my firm or fought in the UFC, or
Sure.
it's always like, but like I see people like you doing stuff you love, like that is success for me.
Oh, yeah.
And like you see people, photographers, and it's their full-time job and it's paying the bills, and they're like, this is my success.
Yeah.
But you're doing the same thing they're doing.
I am.
So like what does success for you look like in photography or in life in general?
Honestly, it sounds cliche, but getting, paid to do something you love. Like this is not, it's never too hard of a day doing a shoot. Could it be grueling? Yes. Could it be a whole week worth of every night you're doing 3 hours of, dance photography? Can that get taxing? Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm doing what I love right then. So, National Fuel pays the bills as far as your the mortgage and car payment and health insurance and all that stuff.
All the life stuff.
All the life stuff. But now, 15 years into photography, I can say that MCP doubled my income from what I made there. So it's twice as much doing photography as a side hustle.
Oh, and you actually saved a man's life working for National Fuel. Let's go into that, dude.
Okay.
No, don't be modest.
Okay.
We have a hero amongst us. Now, you were telling me that story.
Yeah.
That's dope. Like a lot of people would have just not even entertained it.
Sure.
Everyone's nosy until it comes to something like that, and they're like,
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah, and I didn't think twice about it. Well, so the story is, it was in July of last year. I was, going about my route, and you hear chainsaws, you hear all kinds of stuff going, and weed whackers and all this stuff. You just kind of tune it out. But usually when I hear a chainsaw, I kind of swivel my head around, and I heard it.
You don't want to be coming towards you.
Yes, yeah. I just need to, keep your eyes about you. So I heard it, and I didn't see anybody, and I saw it laying on the ground next to this tree that had fallen. I'm like, that's weird. That thing is still going. And as I walked around this tree that had fallen, I hear somebody yelling for help, and I'm like, and I couldn't see him. Like, where is this coming from? He's like, under here. And so then I lift some branches, and this gentleman's been trapped under this tree. I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, I can't believe this guy's okay. You know?
How was he trapped? Was just the tree too heavy, or
Yeah.
was he like stuck?
Yeah, he's pinned.
Bro.
Yeah, I know. And he couldn't get out. So I'm like, I can't believe this man wasn't stabbed.
Oh, but yeah, impaled.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
hear
like
that
how-
all the time. Impaled by a branch or something.
Yeah, or like
crazy.
something broken on him. I couldn't believe it. So I think this gentleman was in his like late 60s or so. So then I run over the chainsaw, turn that thing off, so that's not a problem. And then I go over and I just grab a hold of the branches and lift this thing just high enough for him to roll out from under and inch himself out under. Put it back down.
Was he like hurt? Was he?
No, the guy he was
Dude, that's lucky.
he was just pinned, where he couldn't go. So and I'm like, how long had you been there? He's like, about 20 minutes. I'm like, nobody could help you?
How many people walk by? That's the thing.
Yeah, sure.
How many headphones in, or
sure.
in their phones, or
Sure. And I believe he didn't have his phone on him, so he couldn't like call his wife or something, if I'm not mistaken.
he probably had a flip phone.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
No, what was the phone for elderly?
I was gonna say cricket.
Was it-
No, ladybug.
Ladybug, the ladybug
Ladybug.
phone, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, we're bringing all kinds of
great.
classics back up. So that's wild, man.
Yeah.
And
So I know I was happy. He shook his hand. I didn't really think too much of it. Oddly enough, I'm like, I don't. But then first thing I did was I called my dad, and I'm like, hey, I just did this. And he's like, you did what? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, we went on and on about it. And so when I got back to the shop, I told the supervisor, I started telling the story, hey, I lifted this tree off this guy, it fell on him. And they were like, what? So I, retold the story, and they ended up publishing it for like their social media or something for National Fuel. I think got a picture and all that stuff. And so I'm like, that was cool notoriety, and that was fun. So I'm glad I could go out and help. But to me, it was just I said this in one of the articles they wrote, and it was see something, say something. No, this time it was see something, do something.
Yeah.
You just because you're told to like be safe or don't this, or you don't want to do this, you don't want to be a liability. No, none of that went through my head immediately. Like, how can I help this gentleman?
Yeah, especially with how society's gotten today.
Yeah.
Like, people are so hesitant to help someone.
Yeah.
You ever see those videos online of like experiments where like they'll put a kid on a bench,
Yeah.
and then they'll have like an actor being like, hey, I have candy, you want to come with me?
Sure.
To see like who would react and what they would do.
Yeah.
Dude, people just sit by.
Yeah, people
and
just-
I don't
people
know if
just
it's
watch it
real or
happen.
not, but
Yeah.
they just sit by.
Oh, sure. People just watch things happen these days.
And the kid's like, no, I don't know you. No, I don't know you. And
Sure.
like, obviously, horrible acting
Yeah.
by this kid. Would never get in a movie. But
Sure.
people just sit by and watch, and I'm like, dude, this is aggravating. Like,
Oh, yeah.
how people just go on about we've become so
People are always so
absorbed.
worried about being recorded or do something, or cancel culture, or I did this or this. No, just go be a good person.
So, quick question.
Yeah.
Did you deadlift the tree off?
We'll say deadlift curl, I guess.
Oh, he was curling. Damn, look at you. Let's see those arms. Well, that's why. Do you work out? Obviously.
Often. Yeah, I've been doing that for about 20 years or so.
What time do you usually work out?
The worst time, probably about 5 o'clock. So get to the gym when
PM?
yeah.
How do you get anything done?
Well, because I've been at about 45 minutes. I cap anything about 45 minutes. If I can get 6 different exercises of like do chest, that's plenty. If I do 3 sets and I get 6 of each one, I just fly through it. So then I'm good.
So people, I go to gym around 4:30 a.m. People think I'm like this jocko. Okay, I won't even say that. People have never said that.
Yeah.
But they look at me, they're like, dude, that's crazy. That's wild. To me, it's just, I don't want the crowd.
No, for
one's there
sure.
at 4:30 a.m.
I've
Like,
always tried that. I could never lift as heavy in the morning.
it's miserable. I'm
Yes.
like waking up on my second. I'm on my second set and I'm still trying to wake up.
Yes.
I'm like fighting everything. And then I
Yes.
took a Benadryl the night before, the one day. Dude, I was a zombie in the
I
gym.
can't even imagine just going through the motions.
That's exactly what I was doing. I'm
Yes.
like, I can go home and get
Yeah.
45 minutes of sleep.
But when I do lift in the morning, I'm so much more productive that day. Like
you got something done.
Yeah, it saves you an hour. In your evening, those hours add up pretty quick. You get home. You get out of work at 4:30, work out at 5, get home at 6. So you don't really get anything started till 7. You know what I mean? If you're just the home life.
Yeah. And I know that's your editing time.
Yeah, and then editing starts then.
see, I
and
know
then,
all about that.
Yep, and then they'll carry into, in wedding season, I'll carry until like, my productivity really stops around 1 o'clock in the morning. And then I really just
You'll
started.
edit for hours straight.
Yes.
Do you like listen to music? Do you watch
Yeah.
a movie or something?
So I did the movie thing for a while, and like the TV show, like I'd put like something on like Parks and Recs or whatever. Even though I know the show or the movie, like I'll end up focusing on it. So I had
You're
to end
just
up,
like this.
yeah. So then I'll like at one point I had a 3-screen setup. Like I had like an email here, editing software here, and then I have a movie up there. Way too distracting. So I just end up having. I usually have just music on because everything else is too distracting. Because with my ADHD, I'll just end up hyper focusing on it. So like even when I sit in my chair at home and start editing, like I'll have to do it either. I have a little bit to do, or whatever I do is very very easy. But if I have to absolutely focus, yeah, none of that stuff. It's only music.
I tried the movie thing when I was editing the last episode,
Sure.
and like 10 minutes in, I noticed I was watching the movie.
Yep.
And the video had went on for 10 minutes. And I'm
Yep.
like, oh, I got to redo everything. So
Exactly.
it was almost, it took me more time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just shut everything
It definitely
off.
takes longer when you have something like a movie or something. So how people are watching these shows, like I have photographers I know that have like I've watched like all of Sons of Anarchy and all of stuff while they edit. I'm like, I don't know how you do that because
Can they even tell you about the show? Or is it back? Like if it's Friends,
yeah,
I love Friends.
Sure.
But I've watched it literally like 13 times start to finish.
yeah, that's the same for me with Parks and Recs.
So I can, I can like overhear it
Yes.
and know what's going
Yeah.
on and like finish it while I'm focused.
Sure.
That's how like second nature it's come.
Sure,
to me.
but it has,
anything
to be
else-
something like that where you've heard it like a bunch of times where you don't have to focus. It's kind of like and just noise.
I want to start a new movie while you're editing.
Do not big no.
What are some of the challenges you kind of faced when you went from like I'm doing this for fun to now you're getting paid? What are some of the because now you owe something to someone essentially.
Sure, timelines. The timelines are very challenging right now. Which hopefully here in April, the timelines will get a lot easier because I'm looking to leave National Fuel in April.
Oh, you just dropped that bomb.
Yeah,
You're gonna do this full time? Like it's
Yeah.
gonna be your thing?
yeah. As long as I meet what I made last year, if I can do it again, then I know I'm good. Because I don't want it to be a one-off. But as long as I do what I did last year, then I'll be fine.
I got you in prime time.
Yeah.
Usually I get people when they've left, they did the leap, they did the
Yep.
jump.
Yep. The jump is coming up.
So what's on your mind about that? Are you is that something you battle with or you made the decision?
Oh, yeah. And it's always a worry because it's I'm a person who likes structure. That's what always helps me. And then big change is never easy. It's always something 'cause I just like consistency because that makes life easier for me. But so this big leap is huge. But I have all my ducks lined up to be, to not fail. So and I have like enough money in the bank to say, if for 6 months I make nothing, all my bills and groceries and stuff will be paid. So going out on that, I think I can figure it out by then, and I'll be all right.
So what advice would you give someone who's on that brink and they're just like scared? They're worried but they know this is what they want to do. Like how do they set themselves up to do that in your opinion?
Either you have a lot of confidence in yourself and you know it's going to work, or make sure all your ducks in a row for it to work. Like you want to set yourself up for success. You don't want to, I'd say 8 years ago, a guy at National Fuel say, "Hey, Mike, why don't you just make the leap?" I don't know, because I only made 30 grand this year. And so my name wasn't built enough. Like it would have been a really silly decision to jump ship that quickly. So if you're in a place where it's not going to hurt anything, or growth is going to happen easily without like a lot of like costly effects, go pursue it. And if you fail, then you fail, and then you start all over again. I think I've heard on some of these podcasts that you've built a couple of different businesses that have succeeded and some have failed.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even call them failures because I always try to take something and learn
Sure.
from it.
Oh,
and
sure.
Like I've had like multiple t-shirt businesses.
Sure.
I've designed all my own t-shirts, so like I did a lot of trial and error in design and editing, and that's how I learned Photoshop and Illustrator. It's like I use that now.
Right. Now, I guess this is me asking you a question. How are t-shirt businesses successful when there's so many t-shirt businesses? How do you make one of these like stand out, because everybody has a gym brand or this brand or that brand. Like what makes it makes you more like, how do you make yourself more appealing to somebody else? Do you just have like your baseline of like people that you know, or like you know?
So I don't know if I can talk
logos.
on successful t-shirt businesses because
Sure,
all
but-
of mine, but this kind of what we talked about,
you've
like
had some trial and
photography.
error.
Yeah, like with photography, right? Like there's a lot of fish in this pond,
Yeah.
but there's plenty of food in this pond too. So if you build a brand, and this is where people go wrong in t-shirt businesses or building a brand in general, is they try to build something they believe is cool and not something that they are.
Right.
You know, because they have a following, they have a backing, and now they're trying to take it to the next step. It's like, build a brand on who you are.
Yeah.
And you already have a following. Like, people like you, people like talking to you, they enjoy you, they're going to support you.
Sure.
What happens is people reach this fork in the road of like, oh, well, this will be cool.
Yeah.
But they can't stand on anything with that vision.
Sure.
So I think if you stay true to yourself, stay true to the brand,
Right.
people will buy the brand because of what it represents,
Sure.
and who you are and what you do, and not necessarily because you have cool t-shirt designs, because there's cool t-shirt designs everywhere.
Yeah.
You can buy t-shirt designs on Google.
Yeah.
Google cool t-shirt designs, buy, print, you're good. But there's no merit to where that stands. You know, you have to build a brand on who you are, what you do, you know, kind of like who you are as a person.
Sure.
And
Like I said,
with any business.
Yeah, I mean that is a lot with photography around here. There's a lot of photographers, a lot of new ones, but over 15 years, I've built a brand. I've built people who know me. I've built a reputation. I have a certain style. You know, it just took time for people to get, you know, in credibility.
How hard are you on yourself?
Every day, every time every time I edit, like I could have done this better.
So
Like
it's
I
funny
just,
'cause-
I just gave photos to somebody, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I love these photos." I'm like, you know what? This lighting could have been better. This angle could have been a little bit better. But they were so in love with what they have that like I'm the one being hard on myself. But what I put out was really good.
So I have the same issue, especially with this podcast, right? There's a million podcasts now. And I've had people on here who have asked me to help them start a podcast, and I've helped them start. And kind of like the old selfish me, because I was very selfish back in the day when I was younger. That part kind of comes up, and I'm like, why am I helping this person?
If I help them, then that's going to take business away from me.
But then like the new me, the guy I am today, and who I've built myself to be, and what's always been inside me is like, well, I mean, if I'm helping them, like I thoroughly enjoy helping people.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
I'm
like,
the same
there's
way.
nothing wrong with
I
that.
love teaching. When people ask me questions, I'll happily, you know, this is how I did this. This is how I did this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy to teach anybody. You know what I mean? Because there's enough fish in the sea. There's always a wedding going on. There's always a portrait needs done. There's a senior here. So there's enough fish in the sea that you can't handle them all. So why try to be selfish about it?
So I'm hard on myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm editing the podcast and I'm looking at like right now I look like a damn pile of coal. But like I'm hard on myself. I'm looking at that. And I'm like, why do I keep saying like, or why did I put this angle, or why didn't I do this, or why the audio could have been better. Like I'm listening to it in the car after. I'm so hard on myself, and then I get inundated with messages of like you're telling me, dude, your audio's so good. I'm like,
Yeah, whatever you're doing
is
works.
it?
I mean, it sounds terrific.
we're so hard on ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Like why? But then
But that's what makes us better. That's what pushes you. So you're never comfortable. Like you know, you always get better gear, but then you could have done this better. There's always going to be something that you know can be better. So you'll have continuous growth.
dude, it's funny you mentioned on that last episode we talked about comfort and growth.
Yes.
And how those two don't just like they don't exist in the same realm.
No.
Because if you're comfortable, you're not growing.
It's going to sound weird, but I learned from a guy here I worked under. His name's Rob Frank. I started with, you know, Rob.
I know Rob.
Everybody knows
when
Rob.
I worked at the Bayhawks,
Yeah.
he was their photographer.
And I shot for the Bayhawks for Rob. Yeah, so like
Dude, so we were in the same. I was the entertainment operations.
yeah, we were
director.
probably in the same facility at times because I mean I shot probably a handful of times.
Dude, that's wild.
Yeah.
Well, what's up with him? I haven't heard that name in.
Busiest man I know, I swear. Like this guy has his fingers and everything. A lot of video work I know these days. That guy has his hands full constantly. I think from what I know, he has now 2 full-time employees, if I'm not mistaken.
Dude, that's sweet.
Dude's killing out there.
Shout out to Rob.
Yeah, shout out to Rob.
I haven't heard his name.
Yeah, so I learned with him at Street View because he worked at at the paper for Go Erie. And so he was my boss then. And he kind of took me under his wing at the time and started kind of teaching me different things, taking me on shoots, giving me opportunities here and there. And I really kind of adopted his style, which was at the time was with his flash and stuff. And so then I really became a flash-based photographer, so, off-camera lighting. And only recently, within the past like 2 or 3 years, did I branch out to not using it. And then there's it's a whole different style as natural light photographer. That's a whole different, genre and look. But like that was a new technique I had to teach myself because I wanted to grow and have a certain look and kind of, just mold how I wanted to shoot. But it was new to me. So I still stepped out of my comfort zone and still like, man, I hope I didn't just screw this up. But no, how I always shot never changed. Like how the angles and the poses and the interactions. So that all worked out. It was just me learning how to do it differently.
That's it. It's a small world, man.
Yeah, Rob knows everybody.
But like,
good dude.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
We literally worked together, and then you were there too. That's cool.
Yeah, at different times. Yeah.
So you mentioned Rob and the paper. How important is mentorship?
Oh, huge.
Especially in an industry like this.
Well, I was lucky because Rob is still the go-to guy for a lot of people around here. The guy's knowledge is unbelievable. So people above you who can give you really good advice about stuff is always somebody you kind of want to like gravitate to. So you're gonna take in from all kinds of different places. The more like stuff you can take from, like Rob will teach me stuff. My friend Matt will teach me this. And my friend Abby will teach me that. Like all different ways to shoot. But so it's as long as you can be, look up to people and you're willing to learn and humble yourself and say, hey, I'm not that good at this. Show me how you're doing this. As long as you're willing to learn, then it's limitless because you have to be humble. You can go in with an ego, and that's one thing to be confident with an ego. But if you have to be able to, oh my gosh, well, I didn't know this. So, well, thanks for teaching me this. How do I do this? Don't be afraid to ask questions, ever.
Ego's the biggest killer in anything.
Yeah.
Like in policing.
Yeah.
You can't have an ego.
No. Because you never know what you're walking into, ever.
I say I love, but I hate when I see like videos online of like this cop comes in, starts doing orders, and you're like, bro, what the fuck is you're going into this person's house when they're having a bad day, and you're swinging your dick around right now.
Yeah.
Like this is when you're choosing to do it.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
Or with photography, or with anything, especially MMA world. Mm-hmm. You go to a new gym to cross train. Why do you cross train? Because you're trying to learn something different, something new, a different perspective. You go in there knowing it all. What was the point of even going there?
Yeah, no.
To show off?
Yeah.
Like ego is the killer of everything, man. It's cool when people can like humble themselves and take and learn, because if everyone took that mentality, the world would be a different place.
And so we'll touch on this in a little bit, but the Faces of Erie project that we'll get to, I was always pretty good at portraits. After almost 200 now, I've never been better. And that was in 3 months. And I've been doing this for 15 years. And I have now really gotten very good at it because of consistency and working with different people and all that. But I've done so many in a short period of time. It's not brand new, but it's been something I didn't realize I wasn't as good as I thought I was.
So what is the Faces of Erie? We're here. We're here.
Oh, okay.
We're here. What is it? So
that is an extremely positive project for the city of Erie. And it's showcasing the individuals that we have here that make up, I like to say the mosaic of Erie, because it's a very eclectic and it's a very melting pot of a place that you'll ever see.
It's funny because I was driving down here and I don't announce when I come to Erie because all my homeboys like start hitting me up. Let's go do this. Let's go do this. And then I gotta like figure out what to do. Well, my buddy hits me up and I'm like, oh, I'm filming an episode in here. Sure. He's like, oh, what are you doing? Who you doing? I was like, oh, this guy. I'm like, Conway. He's like, oh, the photographer?
He knows me?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, He's like, yeah, he's a photographer, right? I'm like, yeah. But like, that's Erie.
Yeah, that's Erie.
Erie's so small. Like, it's big, but it's so small. Everyone knows of everyone.
Yes.
I say of because my story in Erie, that's not who I am anymore. So like people be like, oh, yo, Ish. And I'm like, dude, that's not me. Like
Yeah.
anymore. Like, that's not me.
Yeah.
But so, what made you start this collective? Is it a collective? Is it what would you-
A collection of portraits.
Okay, yeah. What was the inspiration? You said melting pot of Erie. You wanted
Yeah.
to,
Well-
that inspired me. Not to interrupt you. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
That inspired me to start. I want to get like everyone's headshot that I've
Yeah.
had on this episode and put it on my website of like
Visual.
faces of
Yeah.
TRP.
Yeah. See who is the face behind the voice?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
'Cause-
Who are these people talking to? Or who are these people? I'm sorry, listening to
They're talking to those guys.
those guys.
So the faces of Erie. What made you want to start that? I mean, it's
It was an idea I had that I worked for a nonprofit here back in or last year, call it for EUMA, United Methodist Alliance, and that's for homelessness. And they brought me in to do portraits of the homeless to showcase that these people are real, not the people on the street. But when you really visually see these people in a in a portrait, and the ones I was doing in particular was a one light, very dramatic, shadow heavy portrait. So like it always, those very dramatic portraits when you see with the older gentlemen with their beards and their eyes, and it's always very dramatic. It's usually shot with one light in a very dramatic way, and so that's what I wanted to showcase for them, and I did that for them. So fast forward to, I'd say November of last year, I was kicking around the idea of like, it'd be a lot of fun to, try to do portraits, this and that of the city. And I started kind of like reeling into like, who all can I get and how many can get, and it just became an idea that popped in my head. I'm like, what if I try to do as many people in Erie as possible, and then make a table book over it, because we don't have one of those. And I started pitching that idea around to, a lot of my friends, and every person I mentioned to, they're like, "Oh my God, that's such a good idea." I'm like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's amazing. I've never heard of something like that."
I haven't.
Yeah,
that's why it's so interesting to me.
which is shocking. So then, I was actually just looking back at the timeline. I didn't start shooting people until December 11th. Okay, and I got about 20 or so people of different, as different variety as I could. All sexes, races, economic standpoints, and so like I had like my lawyer, and then I did a person who did drag, and I did this person or that.
You have a podcast guy?
What's that?
You have a podcast guy in there? Please say no. Please say no.
One. Damn. I think we
No,
can
it's
get
a
you in
good,
there.
yeah. Can I be a face of Erie? I'm technically from Erie.
It's very possible.
That's awesome.
But no, that's what kind of happened, and then I launched it on. I bought the website. Once I bought the website, and I'm saying I'm committed to this for at least a year.
That's what you have to
At least
renew.
a year, yeah, because that's what I have to renew. So I launched it January 1 on right at midnight. Like as soon as the ball dropped, I made the site live, and I had the whole Facebook started going, and so almost immediately I was getting messages of people that night already wanting to be a part of it. Like because I had a whole bunch, I had at least 20 people, so I wanted some credibility. So it wasn't just like one person starting there.
Yeah,
So I
makes
wanted
sense.
some credibility. Some people could already start scrolling.
Like, oh, I've seen that person. Or,
Yeah. So I had at least 20 I started with to launch it before I even put it out there, and then it started steamrolling. And by January 3rd, I'm sorry, I didn't have my logo until December 19th. I didn't even have a logo till then. So then on the 1st, I launched it, and then by December 3rd, I had multiple news interviews coming my way.
Has anyone like? Do you get their story as you're taking it? And that's
It's
the
more of a
coolest part.
one-on-one, kind of like this is like where it's our time to talk. It's not so, because people's attention spans are so short these days with like scrolling past this, scrolling past that. It's not worth having the whole bio of these people. They just kind of want to see who they know and like what they do. So that's what I keep it short with, is like their name, age, if they're willing to give it. 95% of people are, and then what they do, and then leave some type of positive quote or something they want to put out there that's like good. So I've had a couple repeats, but they're all like, I just had one person do something from Theodore Roosevelt, and the other person just says, people need more hugs. Just as simple as that. But as long as it's positive, put whatever you want under there.
Dude, that's a cool project. Like I said, it's made me look at podcast and go, man, I should put my like pictures of my guests up there. Because like not everyone watches the YouTube video. A lot of people do audio now.
People just want to see like who's on there.
Yeah, who's and not only that, be like, oh man, I know that person. I know that person.
Yeah. And that's how this has gone, because people start scrolling through. They're like, I know the person, this person, this person, this person, and then the referrals from this and the submissions and all that stuff, and that has gone absolutely wild. That's what gave me the most anxiety at first, because week one, I didn't know what to do, because it flooded to a point of which I didn't.
It's a good problem.
I had no idea it was going to get this big, so I was like losing my shit. So I called my buddy Chris. I'm like, Chris, what do I do with all this? I don't know how to handle this. And he's like, Mike, all right, we're going to talk through this, and then we need to bottleneck this. We need to find a way for how people can all submit. So we then we directed everything, every social media platform directed people to my website, so it'd go to the submission process. Because I couldn't answer every DM text message from all platforms. It's exhausting.
Oh, it's a lot.
And
for one person especially.
Yeah, and then it just gets all jumbled. So now I can just go through one thing and look through it all. And now, on the submissions, I would almost accept anybody in the beginning. But then slowly all the demographics are starting to be covered. Like I already did 3 or 4 stay-at-home moms, or I did a couple of different workers here who did this, a couple of different teachers. And so to show diversity, it's not just like, color of your skin or your religion, but it's, like it's really like what you do. What do you do for the city? How are you part of the city? And, if I have too many, like I have 4 or 5 podcasters, I wouldn't use somebody then. I mean, that's covered. So now I'm starting to get people, that's starting to happen, a lot of the repeat stuff. So, and at this point, I'm not even getting back to everybody at this point, because I just don't have the time to reply back to all these people. So sorry to if you've submitted and I haven't gotten back to you. Super sorry about that. But just
thank you for submitting.
Yes, thank you for submitting. Thank you for your support. And it's I never know who's gonna message me. I had just it's wild to hear people's stories, that they'll pour out their whole stories. I ask for 2 sentences, but then I get a whole story.
What's one of the coolest stories you've heard from that?
Right off the top of my head, one of the coolest stories, I'd say not even a cool story. It was a cool story. It was Roy. He was the lead singer of the Groove here. An older black gentleman with these signature Jerry curls. He's had that ever since, I think then like the 1970s or 80s when he started really singing. And he told me this whole story. We sat and talked for an hour. We were. It was basically a podcast. So we just sat there and bullshitted for an hour and got to know this man. I've seen him at weddings for years, but we had this nice long conversation. Then recently, I ran into him. It was like an old bro. Like it was like, oh, so good to see you, man, because we really got to know each other. So like the pictures are for everybody. The interviews are like for me and them. Like it's a real one-on-one getting to know this person.
Isn't it crazy how you can see someone?
Sure.
So many times and know nothing about him.
Yeah.
Like DJ Henry, you know who that is?
I know DJ Henry. I've known him. I used to work at the Metro with him.
So me and him know each other.
Yeah.
Every time I'd meet him at the bar and stuff, we hit it off. We were cool dude. I'd see him out. Hey, what's up, bro? We chatted up.
But you don't really.
I have never sat down and spoken with him.
He hasn't. I'll tell you this. He has had a very interesting life, a very interesting story. I know, that guy has had a lot of different DJ, business, or I've seen him DJ everything.
Oh, he saved my life one time.
He ripped a tree off you too?
No. So, I had a hat on and it was flat, and he gave it to me.
Sure.
He was it was Docksiders, and that window open.
Yeah.
He gave me the hat. He's like, "Oh, where's the hat?" So I put the hat on. And I'm like, hey, I'll see you inside. I go to walk in, and this fucking mammoth of a bouncer, he's like, no, you can't come in with that hat. And I'm like, okay. I was like, I'll just take it off then. I take it off, and I threw it at Henry so he can catch it. I don't even know if that's his name, but we'll go with it. DJ Henry.
Yeah.
GQ.
Henry GQ.
We'll go with GQ.
Yes, GQ.
I threw it to GQ.
Yeah.
He tries to catch him. This dude, tried to fight me, and in that part of my life, I was about it.
Yeah.
And I was about 160 pounds at this time.
Sure.
And my attitude was 250, 6 foot, but not physically.
Sure, sure.
Dude, Henry's yelling out the window. This dude like, chill. And I'm like,
Let him be,
dude,
be
we're
right.
about to get into it.
He would have murdered you.
Oh, for sure. I didn't train then either.
No.
Like I'd have been
Just a hothead.
dust. Yes. Yeah. The more I trained, the less the more that went away. Like,
Sure.
But yeah, I can say he saved my life because that dude would have ate me for breakfast.
Absolutely.
What is the philosophy behind your brand? Everyone has, we were talking about what makes a brand different. Like, there's a lot of photographers.
Mm-hmm.
What is the philosophy that stands behind your brand and your company?
I would say philosophy is, I always want people to be happy to have an image that was captured at one time that they can look back and be happy with. Whether it be, a wedding photo or a senior portrait or whatever. I want to give somebody to look back and be happy and smile and be happy about, because whatever image I give them is going to be, that's a moment in time. So I just want to leave them with something that they're pleased with to look at again.
It's cool that's what you do for a living, because what do we reminisce with?
Yeah.
Photos.
Yeah. You look at those photos books at your mom. You pull them off the shelf and you look at them again. You see you guys.
I try to burn as many of those as I can. I see pictures of me. I'm like, that was me. Damn.
Yep.
You did that to
Yep.
me. But it's cool. Like that's what we reminisce on. Like you're walking in the hallway and you pass this photo and you're like, I remember what was happening at that time.
And see, that's actually a really good point you made. You didn't really realize it, is that you saw a photo on a wall. I encourage people to print photos. Nobody prints them as much as they used to. Those photo books are nowhere near as popular because your photo book is right there in your hand. But when you have a tangible print, it means so much more.
It does.
It
Like,
does.
I'm literally thinking of photos right now that I'm like there's a photo of my grandfather who passed away, which it's like he's like cowering down and he looks so timid.
Yeah.
That motherfucker was a beast. I remember when he took that photo, he was motherfucking people for taking his photo. But you look at this photo, he's like, look at this sweet old man.
Oh, yeah.
And I look at it, and it makes me laugh because I'm like,
Sure.
people looked at him like,
Yeah.
oh, he was a motherfucker. Dude got into machete fights when he was younger. Like, he's from Puerto Rico, straight off the banana boat, as they say.
Let's go.
And you see this picture of him. His hair's white. He's so small. I'm like, that motherfucker would have tried to kill you if he had a chance. Like, it's just cool. Like, you think of the story.
Sure.
I was like, I remember exactly when this photo was taken.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, my uncle always used to take pictures of us everywhere we go. We'd go out and to like dinner or whatever we were doing with the family at that time. And he would like without hesitation hand somebody a camera to take our picture. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do we have to do this again? But man, I look back at these, I'm so happy. He's no longer with us. So looking back at this made me so happy. He made us take these pictures, and that we can have him look at them, tangibly. I don't have to scroll through my phone to try to find these. I can go back and look at these, for when they pop up again here and there, the different places. So it's nice to, have something to go look at instead of because you can scroll and then you'll forget.
I used to hate photos. I used to hate photos.
I hate photos.
I thought they were dumb, and
I hate my photos taken. I really do.
I just had a good friend of mine pass away. He was a sergeant. He passed away from cancer.
Sure.
And I was going through my phone, and when I switched to, I went from iCloud to like Google Photos to like kind of, they never transferred, so I lost them. And it's like, I remember when we took those photos, I was getting yelled at by him in a cert test, and he's like, we had a banter between us.
Sure.
He like snaps a photo of me, and I'm like, really, motherfucker? Like, oh, you're gonna kick me while I'm down? You know?
Yeah.
Well, he sent it to me, and he's like, oh, he was funny. He would send a slur my way with the photo. I'm like, you motherfucker! Like, I'm gonna get you back. Well, like now he's not here, you know. And I was looking for that photo, and I'm like, I don't have that photo. No. Something so simple, like.
Yeah. Yep, because that could die with your, I have, 30,000 photos on here. That phone died, so did all those images. So, print off the ones that really matter. I mean, you're not going to print out 30,000 photos, but, make sure you get things that you can look at tangibly. That's not just going to go away if you lose it in the ocean. You know what I mean? If that thing falls in the water, done for. If you don't have the cloud. But, I mean, it's same premise. Having something to print.
Yeah, there.
Have something on your
physical
wall.
that you can hold, touch.
Yes.
How do you evoke that emotion when you're taking these pictures? Like I like even if something is a portrait, right?
Sure.
Like you're taking a picture of someone's child or a sport, right? Like
You
they're
have
gonna
to-
grow up. How do you evoke that?
You go in. Well, first you have to see what you're looking for. And then you get a read on the person, because you don't like. Sometimes you want the fake things, but sometimes not. Sometimes you want the genuine person. You want that person being them, and maybe that's not always smiling. Sometimes it's just a look or whatever, how they are. But I really tried to, find the true smile. I laugh. I make all kinds of funny jokes. I swear, whatever it takes them to get them a genuine laugh is what I do. And then just before that genuine laugh, or just after that genuine laugh, and before a straight face, is your real smile. Because sometimes it's that cheese smile, and then there's fake smile, and then that one right in between is the one I always try to get people to do. It could take 20 minutes to get there, but once you have that image, that's it. But it's people are uncomfortable in front of the camera. So if you approach people with a lot of relatability, because being a photographer, you have to be a people person. You have to be able to read people, and be able to relate to them. And once you can, find a common ground with somebody, like gentlemen, it's pretty easy. If I can tell somebody lifts, I can, oh, dude, your shoulders are looking big, or this or that, or whatever. I can make a comment, and we'll have a common ground. And once they have that, it triggered that we have relatability. We instantly hit off and start, bullshitting about that, and they get more comfortable. Their shoulders relax, their face relax, and once that happens, you can, get a really good image.
You want to make a man who lifts smile? Tell him his calves are huge.
Yo,
bro, look at them calves.
Look at those calves. Like,
yo,
really?
for real? You think so?
I'll tell you this. I've never heard that comment.
Me either. People are like, dude, your shoulders, your bear, your gorilla, chest, biceps.
Dude, tell me my calves are good.
What about my calves?
Tell me about my calves.
the camera's taking away.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm wearing pants. And
damn, I knew I should have wore pants, man. It's been quite the day. I've been moving around. I wanted to be comfortable.
Yeah.
What role does photography, in your belief, play in like fostering community and like bridging the gap of, because like with the Faces of Erie, you're bridging that gap. And I don't know if that was intended immediately. Sounds like it was.
It was. I just didn't know it would work that well.
You didn't think it would take off like that. So like, how have you seen that play a role in like your community, what you're surrounded by? Because I'll tell you with mine, when I started this podcast, I love talking to people. I love getting people's stories. I'm that annoying dude at the bar that when I ask you what's up.
Yeah, like I mean it. Like, tell me what's up.
Yeah, like I'll listen. Dude, I've sat in bars for hours. Yeah. Just talking to people. By the end, they're like, bro, like, I'm gonna quit my job. I'm like, no. All I was saying was just think about it. Like, go do what you want to do, but like be smart about it. They're like, I'm fucking quitting tomorrow. I'm like, fuck, dude, another one. But so like, and what I've noticed, the more I get to know people and talk to people, like now we start hitting each other up. And they're like, hey, next time you're near me, hit me. I've built a community of people, of cool people who now are being intertwined. Like I'm partnering with the Clemente Museum in Pittsburgh.
Sure. Cool.
And the guy there's like, hey man, Damian Priest, WWE. It's like, he's coming to Pittsburgh.
That's awesome.
He's been wearing Clemente stuff. Like, we want to get him in here. And I'm like, oh, I just interviewed a guy who wrestles, and his wife has been affiliated with the WWE. Maybe I reached out to him. He's like, oh, she knows one of his old trainers. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. So like that community is starting to be, and it's always like bouncing off each other. So that's what's happened over these past 15 years of like starting with Street View. And that's really where I kind of really end up networking, because I saw the same people at the same events and this and that, and people got to know me, this and that. And so that has been like the best way to do it. It's honestly, it's word of mouth and getting to know these people on a personal level, and like sitting there and bullshitting with people for a second, and then, then they see your work. So not only do they like you, now they see your work and they think, okay, now I want to work with this person. And so this person says, I had a good experience with him. He's good, this blah, 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 because you can be good and be a dick, and then nobody wants to work with you. So, and that's a reputation. See it in like movies, like producers and stuff like that.
Yeah, nobody wants to work with you, man. If you're going to have that attitude, nobody's going to want to work with you. That always brings me back to the scene I just saw. It's one of the Adam Sandler movies where the quarterback comes in yelling, swearing at these people, being an asshole. And then, he punches him in the mouth and says, nobody's going to want to work with you with an attitude like that. We're definitely not hiring you. I don't care if you're number one. We're not hiring you because you're a dick. Yeah. So once check the ego and you be kind, it goes so much better. Just be nice. Once you be nice and calm and just enjoyable, yeah, and again, and relatable and fun, like that's where it's been. And really, I had no idea the interwebs I was going to get into until I started this Faces of Erie project. I couldn't believe the connections I'm making, like, and how things are how the dots are connecting. Like, I had dots on there, but they couldn't really reach each other yet. But now all of a sudden, like, this person knows this person, this blah 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 blah. So it's been a wild thing to
Do you have the pictures hung up in a room all around?
Oh God, like my mental, oh my God, yes. No,
you walk in and you're just like, looks like a crime scene you're trying to investigate.
That's a funny image on that. Maybe
you should make a board of just everyone's pic. When they come in here, they're just like, that's my picture.
Yeah. So now when I have the launch party, I'll just have everybody, all these pictures are like, whoa.
Are you gonna do a launch party?
I will be doing a launch
Dude,
party.
that's sweet.
Yeah, that's a goal to have here. Hopefully in I think mid-November I just put that on my calendar as kind of where I would like to do this. I would like that's my end goal, to have it launched by then. I just got done talking to Amazon, who will be help publishing this book. So what's cool about this is that every person involved in Faces of Erie, one of them can do something for that launch party, whether it be the food, the hosting, the mic, anything, like the drinks, all that stuff. Everybody who has been part of this project so far can cater that event and make it the event. I don't have to reach out to anybody. Like, everybody I've already used can, contribute. Like the Big Cheese here, I asked them, like, hey, would you want to be like one of the food vendors? Or a couple of other guys I've asked, if they do want to be one of the food vendors if we do a launch party. Yes. And then people for drinks, for Altered State. I'm like, would you guys want to be like a drink for them? And then, like, so I can ask all these people to be with them. It's a network already.
You want to talk about community?
Yeah.
A party for the people, built by the people.
That's exactly what this will be.
Damn.
Yeah.
You could use that.
Yeah,
you
neat.
can use that.
No, thank you.
For the
Thank you.
people, by the people.
For the people, by the people.
You can use that. I'll give you permission. I won't take any what is it? Shares or
credit or royalties or anything?
Yeah, I want no royalties. You're fine.
Yeah, thank you.
That's sweet. Yeah, that's cool. And so you're turning this into a book.
Yeah, 'cause again, we go back to the tangible thing. They made an Erie book about 11 years ago or so, and it was a very business based, and it's been around for a long time, and so it's time to kind of revamp that. But it's always cool to go back to look at something on the table, like if the coffee table book at a business or whatever, or maybe it's just at your house. Because my mom had this book. It was a table book. It was something in America, like a moment in time. And I have gone back and looked at that for years, and it meant going through all these these memories and all these. It's a table book and something enjoyable. And this one, will be all of the people or that time here, this and that. So I want something tangible that people can flip through and remember.
Dude, that'd be sweet, because I'm one of those dudes like at a cafe.
Yeah,
I'll go in and I'll look in the books, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like half the time it's like random stuff, but
sure.
Sometimes I learn something, or I see something like, oh, I didn't know. Like there was this one, there's a cafe. I can't remember the name. Some random cafe in Pittsburgh.
Sure.
And I went in, and they had a book of the history of Pittsburgh. And I'm looking at it, and it shows you, and it was just photos of how Pittsburgh was built.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had no idea. Like, that was cool.
Actually, to that point, we've been spitballing, like, not just having the portraits in there, of having like cool history of Erie, like Axe Murder Hollow. Why is that? Or why was Mill Creek Mall shaped like a gun? Like all these little interesting things that isn't like really out there, but they all these like little myths and legends of Erie, I think would be a really sweet addition to this. So people are like, oh, I remember that. Yeah, this or that.
Why was the Mill Creek Mall shaped like a gun? Because I have a rumor.
See, again, there's a rumor. Yes. I don't know. I think the mob or something pointing at the government being pissed off or something. So this was like their whatever clackback attitude.
This is rumor.
So again, see?
No hits on us, please. But that's exactly what I heard too.
Yeah.
It was the mob saying "fuck you" to the government.
Yes.
Which is, I hope that's true, because that's cool.
Yeah, right?
It's a cool story.
Yeah, it's a cool story. So,
or all the bodies in Lake Erie.
Right? Oh, yeah. I mean, and then
In the Bay.
It's a lot. Maybe.
That's what they say. Rumors.
Rumor has it.
Rumors.
I mean, you could talk to Jeremy, the one guy on here who was the shipwreck diver. He may tell you he's seen one or two. That was
You
wild.
say that like it's true. So that I ain't swimming in them beaches again. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Just avoid the bay. What are some lessons you learned in like resilience and pursuing? Because this is one of those fields where things are hard and you may not get it immediately, and it's so easy to quit. We see it all the time. What has kept you in the grind?
Consistency and clientele growth. I'll tell you that it's been a consistency for like I'd say for the first 6 years, my name was kind of out there, but I didn't really know anybody. It was just a continuous grind at it and knowing I'm good at what I'm doing and I'm enjoying doing it and I'm growing doing it. So the more growth I can go to this has really been like the base to be growing this business. It's all about consistency and honestly not giving up. Even when it gets hard, every winter, I swear I say I'm going to give up because I'm not hearing from anybody. But that's just when our slow time is. You kind of learn the dips and valleys of business that you're going to have there. Like we're going to make X amount of dollars during the summer. Then during the winter, it's going to be slow, so you can plan for that. So you're learning paths and all kinds of stuff, and it takes a long time to just learn all the ins and outs and be okay with slow times, or maybe you might not get that job. Be okay with it. I actively tell brides and grooms, I'm this style, but if they're, if they tell me, we want this person, I completely understand. I think they're a great photographer. They'll do a great job for you. I'm not hurt because there'll be other, brides and grooms that do want my style. So it's you always want to go to everything with positivity and uplifting the community, because you don't want to say you don't want to go with that person, he sucks. You never want to bash somebody else because it makes you look like an ass. Whether this person's good or he really is he or she really is like a kind of a jerk. You never want to say it because then you end up looking like that. So if people don't go with me, I'm not mad at them. That's okay. I'm just not their cup of tea for their big day, once in a lifetime moment. Okay. I'd be picky. I'm picky too.
I was just having this conversation with someone. I swear, when I was when I talk to someone and the first thing they do, like for a service or something, and the first thing they do is bash the competition, red flags are going off
instantly.
Because now I'm like, hold on. Why was that the first thing you went to?
This first events thing, and you're just.
It kind of makes you wonder,
it gives
because
you a bad taste in your mouth instantly. This guy's, oh my, he's already bashing somebody.
Not even a bad taste. It reminds me of the quote, someone above you will never try to drag you down. It's only someone below you.
Yeah.
So if you resort to bashing someone immediately, that tells me you don't have the skills, education, or the ability to perform where I need you to perform, or do what I need you to do, because you're trying to drag everyone else down to your level.
Show why they can't do it and why you can.
Or why I'm the best fit. They can't do it, but I'm the best fit. I don't want the best fit. I want to know you can do this.
Yes.
So if I'm talking to people and they're like, yeah, I have the equipment. Yeah, this is my style.
Yeah, you should go with this person. His lighting sucks. Why would you do that?
It's just like, okay, I'm asking about you.
Yeah.
The quote is, a person above you will never try to drag you down.
Sure.
So if in any industry, think about it, maybe the music, because music is
and then likely other people are not pleased with that individual. Well, that person likely has a bad reputation around town because he's always running his mouth about other small businesses. We're all small businesses. Why are you dragging each other down? Build each other up. Say this person is great. This person is good at this. This is this. There's no reason for it. And it really, like
it's
I said,
insecurity.
It only hurts you.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I try to tell these people. It's it affects you. It may not affect you immediately, but it will affect you. Instead of hey, we're thinking about hiring a photographer.
Sure.
Cool. That's your perfect time to sell yourself.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I have 3 photographers on staff. We're going to capture this. We'll have a plan for you.
Yeah. And you know what?
Oh, wow.
People still might not book you.
And that's it. Yeah.
And even if you have a great sales pitch, this and that, great. But then they go back and, you were a great guy, a nice guy, but you really didn't capture the day like they pictured.
How do you handle that?
What's that?
The rejection? First thing, rejection. Hey, we went with someone else.
Oh God.
Because that can't be easy.
It really took them, oh God damn it. Like, what did I do wrong? This or that. And it's not. And because I'm confident, I know I'm good at what I do. And because it's taken a lot of time to build that. And, I've looked back and I have a much larger clientele these days. So I must be good at doing, even if I'm as hard as I am on myself, I must be pretty good at what I do to keep getting, you know, jobs and hired referrals and all that stuff. But so it never hurts my feelings because I know these other people are being hired because they just want something different. And you have to be okay with that because there's going to be another job for you. If you're not getting that job, it wasn't meant for you. And that's okay.
How important is it to stick to your style, your roots, your beliefs in this field? Because we often see photographers who just want the gig.
Sure.
Or anyone, videographers, photographers, graphic designers.
Sure.
I see that with graphic designers. They have a specific style and they want the gig so bad, they'll say, oh, I can do this. Mm-hmm. And now they're trying to dive into this crazy realm that they're not comfortable in.
Sure. I like to be as versatile as possible. And that was learning to, you know, do the light, the airy look, or then you want the contrast or the dark, moody look. If you're, you know, to be multiverse and like shoot different styles, but never like go away from your brand or look, because just because it's light and airy doesn't mean it's not going to look like different from your overall style. And actually recently this happened to me because I can still shoot light and airy and like kind of in a little brighter look. I like to shoot a little bit more moody, a little more contrast, a little more vibrant, but I can do the other one. And these people did not go with me, and they went with somebody else who did comfort their style, and I was okay with that. But like, whenever people ask me to do a certain thing, I'm like, I can do something similar, but like, I'll never like. It's off-putting if they're asking you to change, because then why are they they're hiring the wrong person, because you might not ever meet their expectations.
It's funny when I see it in this industry, especially like someone will book a photographer and say, I want it to look like this.
Yes.
So why'd you book me then?
Yeah.
That's not how mine look.
Yeah. I want something like this. Okay. I can go with that. I want your inspiration photos. I want to get a feel for what you're looking for. I will get similar. I'm not going to shoot it like just exactly like that. It's going to be a style similar to that. I can help try to get that image for you in my style. And yeah, so that's what I try to ask my clients to do. You know, I'm never opposed to say, hey, I saw this. Can we try this? Sure. We'll try to use that as inspiration.
Yeah.
You know,
not duplication.
And also you have to, you know, say, you know, you aren't this person. Like your body doesn't look like theirs. Your face doesn't look like theirs. You know, you're not dressed like them. You know, people see these Pinterest images of these people, but you don't look like these people. So your image is not going to look like that image. So we're going to do something
different locations, different everything. Everything's
different about that. Yeah. Do we all have this beautiful field? No, we're not Midwest photographers. We're here in Erie, Pennsylvania. You know,
the city with the lakefront. Hey.
Sure is. Yay. But I'll tell you what, man. When I was able to go out west and I shot a wedding in Montana in Glacier, oh my God, it's a whole different. Like my brain went on like creative overload.
Have you ever been to Salt Lake?
No.
Have you ever heard of the Salt Flats?
Yes, because that's where they take the cars and I've always wanted.
Dude, I see photos on that, and like one photo it'll look like glass, and the other photo it look like snow, and I'm like, it's the same place. How are they doing this? And it's all lighting and I guess the way the sun. But dude, it's so cool. It's so cool what people can do with something that just pauses a moment in time. So, what are your future plans in photography? Do you have any upcoming projects, or are you looking to expand this business? Like, what does the future look like for you?
I guess when I go full time, it will give me more opportunities to dabble into the video aspect, because which a little bit, because I dabble, but people want these days is a lot of video content. Still, content's good, but you know, the reels and all this stuff is what sells. So it's like the branding stuff. And like the social media marketing. So I've tried to dabble in it, but I just don't have time to edit photos and videos in 5 hours of a night. You know, there's never enough time on a full-time job. I just don't have the time to do it. So growth would be like dabbling more into the video aspect of, you know, photography, to be able to like utilize another tool in the belt. You know, I just got my Part 107 to fly drones commercially, and so that you have to learn video because that's all it is. I mean there's still images that are great, but people want to see the captivating imagery and all of the video aspect of it. And so I had to learn how to do the video. I had to teach myself Final Cut Pro. So the more, and I try to edit videos, but it takes me forever.
I don't even edit these. I just cut and delete angle, and it takes forever.
Yep.
And I look at people make videos where they're creating a story with everything they took throughout the day, and it's not the order you took it in.
No, I'll be honest. That's why Rob blows me away. I don't know how this man does this. He's got videos so dialed in and be able to do all this stuff. It blows me away because when we were first working together with him, he was just photography, but slowly over time he's built his really career into video aspect, and he just has this huge process, all this setup, these box trucks and all this stuff, and just it's blown me away over these years on how he's been able to go switch to photo and video.
It's a skill, man.
It is. It's a skill.
That's why you guys are the professionals and we're the hobbyists.
Yeah. But I always, don't go into a job over your head. If somebody hires you something and it's something you haven't done, or you are not sure if you're capable, I've walked away from jobs. I've had people ask me if I can do commercials for them, videos for them. I say no, because I have to, because I don't have the capability. I will refer somebody like Rob or Chris Norris with Revox Media. I will refer them, and because that's what their specialty is.
I just saw a story.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. Probably not. Of course, it deleted.
Sure.
It was about kind of the comfortable, don't be comfortable kind of mantra. Of
Get uncomfortable.
expanding.
Get uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah. So the story went on about if you don't know it, do it anyway. Learn it. How would you advise someone to not advise? That's a scary word. Advise.
Yes. Trial and error, man. You don't
Push.
Think I, you
How
don't
would
think
you
I-
tell
don't
someone to
think-
push?
You don't think I fucked up a wedding photo before? Yeah, I've done hundreds of things, but I've done everything under the sun to screw up. Almost everything. Lost something or misshot or didn't get this or that or whatever it was to screw up. I've done it. Forgot about something. I didn't schedule it properly. I didn't write it down. So now you learn to make sure you do that. And everything, it's a trial and error, and you're gonna screw up.
My first episode,
Did you?
left my laptop.
What?
I left my laptop at my house.
Did you record on your phone or something?
No, it was. Remember I told you it was my buddy.
Yeah.
He's like, I got a laptop, and I'm like, bro, but mine has the processing and this and this. He's like, well, what do you have? He had a HP little small. I'm like, then I remembered. I was like, I have the Adobe suites.
Yes.
I was like, I can download the Adobe on it, and I was like, oh, maybe I can work with this, and I improvised. And we got it.
Get through it.
I never record on Adobe.
Sure.
This is before I had OBS and everything, so I was recording into audio software.
Sure.
And I had to learn, and then I figured out I was like, oh, I can pull the audio and then put it into what's the Apple? I'm drawing.
iMovie?
No, the audio.
Oh,
Logic.
Oh yeah.
I pulled it into Logic,
Okay.
and I was like, okay, I'm comfortable here. I'm comfortable here.
Yeah.
But dude, I was sweating bullets. But something like you go to a wedding, you forget something or you mess something up. You have
battery
to
died,
learn.
card corruption. You forgot a certain lens. I forgot light, and I have my lights, and I forget my triggers. Oh God.
You have the lights. It's like, why are we using the lights?
So then natural light. But I've done everything, or oh my gosh, I had to run home. I'd say I'll be back, and I'd be like 90 down Route 5 to go get and come back because I forgot my light. So you just you become prepared for every situation. You're gonna learn from everything. You're gonna screw up, and it's just about how you handle that screw up. Take it on the chin, and then learn from that, and don't do it again. Card corruption. Now I make sure I always shoot on 2 cards because if one of those corrupts, fine, I have the backup. So it's just always if I forget my trigger, my flash can also trigger if I need to. So you always have a backup for a backup, and you learn everything you need. So if you're in a situation, you'll be fine.
And you learn that
Yeah.
through trial and error.
Trial and error.
If you have a perfect shoot every time,
Yeah.
the time you have an issue,
Yep.
how are you going to deal with it?
Yeah.
Final piece of advice for someone trying to make this a thing like you're doing. If you can only give them
As in what? As
a I want to be a photographer. I want to make this my living. I enjoy it. I love helping people. But
always love what you do. At the end of the day, if you can do something and get paid for it, great. But if you can do something and for free and still enjoy it, keep pursuing it, because getting paid is a bonus.
it's being relentless.
Being relentless.
It's being relentless.
Yes.
I truly believe if you stick with something for long enough,
yes.
you will be successful in it.
Absolutely.
How many people have quit before they made it in whatever realm they were pursuing?
True. I did push-ups one time. I could only get like 10. A month later, I did 75 in a row. You know what I mean?
Did you know how Amazon was started? In a garage.
Wow.
Apple.
Yeah. Netflix.
Yeah.
Mail order.
Small companies that the person who started it wanted to quit 1,000 times.
Sure. They screwed it up.
They didn't.
No.
And now.
Yeah, it's a huge success stories for them through all that. It's being relentless. That's exactly what you have
Stick
to
to
be.
your gutches.
Yes.
That's underwear, right? I just learned
Stick
that
to your
word.
gutches.
Yeah, gutches is like underwear, I think. I just learned that
Let's
word.
learn that word.
Stick to your gutchies. Maybe it's gutchies.
Jeez. No word I always hate now. Glizzy. I'll never understand.
Dude,
I'll never understand. It's hot dog.
a Smith Glizzy?
Smith. Yeah.
Bro, I was in.
So, fun fact, I photographed Smith Provision. So I got a hold of them and went to their factory to photograph their CEO. And their CEO, she's like, you know what? I love my workers so much. Let's photograph their workers. So I photographed their workers, built a good relationship. So I actually messaged her. I'm like, hey, Sarah, why do people say glizzy? So
Why do people say glizzy?
I heard from
It's like Southern, right?
or a rap song is what I heard. So I'm like, where did glizzy come from? Glizzy
Oh, I get it.
Yep.
Dude, so I'm in Nashville, and they're like, hey, you want a glizzy? And it's a hot dog cart. What was he offering me for real?
Yeah. What's a glizzy? Yeah.
We'll leave you guys on that. I appreciate you for jumping on the Relentless Project, bro.
Yeah.
This is the one with Mike Conway, and awesome stuff you're doing. I'm excited for this
so much.
book to drop, for
Yep,
everything you
looking
got
forward to
going
it.
on.
And if you see this and you want to be part of it, you can go to facesoferie.com /contact, submit a form there, and we will review your submission and do our best ability to get back to you. And if you want to work with me personally, my Conway Photography, go there, check out all my stuff. If you like it, get a hold of me.
I have a question before we leave.
Yeah.
Do you have to be from Erie to be on Faces of Erie?
You have to have Erie roots, I would say, because
Asking for a friend.
I went for James Conner. He no longer lives here. Well, I'm still trying to get James. But
We'll get
he's
you
the face of
James.
here. Yeah, we'll get James.
We'll get you, James.
Nice.
We may go back.
I know people. See?
Yeah, connections.
there it is.
Well, I appreciate you for jumping on.
brother.
This is the one with Mike Conway, and we're out.
Here we
Later.
go. See ya.